Chef Dom Taylor, the first ever Jamaican-born winner of 5-Star Kitchen, has elevated Jamaican cuisine to Michelin-worthy standards.
It is an outstanding plate of food.
Yes! I would pay big money for this. It's beautiful.
It's cooking of the highest order.
In this second part of the series, I'm paying tribute to Chef Dom's prowess in the culinary scene by recreating 2 of the dishes on his menu. That is the Ackee Saltfish cake and the Cocoa Bean layered mousse cake, which essentially is like a chocolate trifle. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do that. Chef Dom combines artistic flair, a little bit of personal history, and classical training. He is like the James Bond or the Usain Bolt of Caribbean cuisine. Come to mama. I know I revealed the outcome of the show, but it is a must watch. Head on over to Netflix and check it out. Today, I've simplified the dishes for easier home preparation while keeping the essence and the flair of Chef Dom's original thought process. Without further ado, let's get into the dishes. Place a sauce pot on the stove over medium heat. Pour 1 cup of heavy cream into the pot. Heat the cream until it starts to simmer, but do not let it boil. You should see small bubbles forming around the edges of the pot. Once the cream is simmering, immediately pour it over the chocolate in a heat-proof bowl. Let it sit for about 2 minutes to allow the chocolate to soften. Then gently stir the mixture with a whisk or a spatula until the chocolate is completely melted and the mixture is smooth and glossy. I just want to make sure I get every single chocolate chip out and melted. So I'm gonna put it over a bain-marie, which is just a water bath, and keep mixing until we get it completely smooth. I'm gonna go ahead and add some instant coffee granules right now for that coffee flavor. I know y'all coffee lovers are gonna be excited for this one. We're gonna go, a couple of teaspoons should be good. Ooh, this is looking good. All right guys, I think this is good. We are going to stop here. We're gonna put it on the counter to cool a little bit. We're gonna cover this with plastic wrap and then put it in the freezer to chill up really quickly. Once it's set, then we get to mixing. Now for the heavy cream. We're going to whip it in a chilled bowl, mixing bowl here. I put this in my fridge about half an hour ago. And we're just gonna put in about 2 cups of the heavy cream. I'm gonna put a little bit of sugar. We're doing half a cup just to aid in the sweetness. We're gonna add some vanilla and we're gonna give it a good mix until it becomes nice and stiff and frothy. Stable enough for us to continue with our preparation. I'm gonna mash one of the bananas and just incorporate it into this, but we're only gonna do that with half of the cream because I want to reserve some for the banana and the rest for garnishing on top. So let's do that now. All right, so we're gonna set this in the fridge, also with cream, and prepare the cookies and the cake. To get the ginger crumble, all you need to do is crunch them in the packet using a heavy object like this stone pestle I'm using here, or a sturdy glass jar. If you have a blender or a food processor, feel free to use it, but just keep in mind the extra cleanup that you'll have to face afterward. Next, slice about 8 to 10 strawberries in half and set aside. Then slice the pound cake into 1/2-inch cubes. Alright, so it is fully chilled, which is what we need to whip up the ganache to increase the volume. So now it just looks like a thick chocolate pudding. We're not gonna leave it like this. We're gonna make it take up more space. Scoop it in our mixing bowl. And now it's time to assemble our trifle. It's exciting. This is so fun. I could make trifles all day. You can add some liqueur over it, some syrup, just to add some more liquid and flavor. Oh yeah, baby, let it soak in the cake. Just like add a layer of crunch, I guess. All right, next we're going to do the banana cream. So potato cakes are an essential part of British diet. It's super simple to make, and I think it's a no-brainer that Chef Dom decided to go with Ackee and Saltfish for his version at his very fancy restaurant. I'm pretty sure how I'm making it is pretty similar to what he did. However, I love it with cheese, so I'm gonna add some cheddar to it just to add that extra unctuousness, right? I'm pretty sure you're gonna love this one, guys. Without further ado, let's get into this recipe that you can whip up for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So these are just like old roast leftover potatoes that you have. Could be boiled, you can boil it. So this Irish potato is very waxy, aka it's very sticky. So all we're gonna do now, we have about a cup and a half of grated potato. We're gonna go with the aromatics now, and we're gonna do a couple tablespoons of scallion, thyme leaves. You know you can't have enough of that. We've got some Scotch bonnet diced up. I'm gonna add that there. Shredded saltfish. This is done in large chunks, but feel free to shred this super fine in your food processor or with your fingers. I'm just gonna go in and take up about a quarter cup, and I'll just go through and shred a little bit more. So this saltfish I just pre-soaked overnight in a bowl of water. It was fully submerged. And what you do, you just taste the saltfish to see how salty it is. If it's too salty, just soak it for about half an hour more. And then now we're gonna go in with our pre-cooked ackee. This is canned ackee. It works perfectly for this because it takes up less time. If you don't have an ackee tree, this is a perfect fit for you. I'm just gonna take a heap of this. It's gonna break up because it's relatively soft, but we're gonna wanna work with this ginger lake because we don't want it to break up too much. I think that's a good ratio. I'll just go in with some black pepper, like that. Just sprinkle it there. Now, feel free to jazz this up with some furikake. Because of the nori, it just adds an extra seafood or sea-like flavor. You could also make this completely vegan by mixing the saltfish and going with, you know, ackee and nori as well. Okay, now it's time for breading. I'm using a shortened version as I'm just gonna go straight into the egg wash and then my flour and breadcrumbs mixture. Typically, you would do flour first, then your egg wash, then your breadcrumbs. But I think this is sticky enough. I'm just gonna drop it into my egg, give it a nice little turn. It's all nicely coated. Drop it in our flour. And I'm using gluten-free flours in this one. I'm using some masa, harina, and some cornstarch and cassava breadcrumbs. So give it a nice little toss. Doesn't have to be fancy. A nice coating is good enough, and there we go. Feel free to do a double coat if you want it to be perfectly like coated and smooth around the edges. Now, you can fry these as is, but just beware when you fry them, some of the cheese is gonna start melting onto the surface of the bottom of the pan, which is not a deal breaker, but it will stick a little bit. So we're gonna go in and coat it with our breadcrumbs. We are going to fry our ackee and saltfish potato cakes right now. And I have, some of the cakes are breaded, some aren't. So we're gonna compare and see which one we prefer. I think the oil is hot enough. Let's see, we're getting a sizzle. Fry them up, baby, fry them up. Fry them up, baby, fry them up. You smell all of that aroma? Gotta turn it down. Cause this baby is fast, so fast, so fast. Gotta turn it down. Gotta turn it down. All right, let's flip it and see. Smell the cheese. Ooh, it crisps up pretty nicely. I love the Maillard reaction happening. The starch from the potatoes is helping to form a coating on these. Once it gets really nicely brown, we want to take it out because we don't want it to burn. Guys, I have homework for you. Don't worry, it's very easy. All you gotta do is hit that subscribe button. 90% of you guys out there who are watching and liking my stuff are not subscribing. That's the only way I'm gonna grow and reach new audiences as per YouTube's algorithm and all other isms. I really want to be the Jamaican Martha Stewart of the Caribbean, so I really love if you help to push this project forward and grow this empire. All right, got it? Ta-da! Ooh, they're so good. I love it. Oh yeah, yummy, cheesy. Come to mama. So good, aromatic. You can taste the thyme. The saltfish is salty. You can taste the hint of cheese and this spicy tamarind sauce. I believe I'm at the good front room. Anyways, guys, I am sincerely in love with these dishes. I outdid myself. They're to die for. They're super delicious. And most of all, they're super easy. Thank you so much, Chef Dom, for the inspiration for these lovely dishes. This is a crowd pleaser, whether it's for summertime, Christmas, date night. Oh my gosh, Mother's Day. These dishes are sure to impress. And I'm loving that Jamaican theme infused in these dishes so that we can be proud of our Jamaicanness, right? Who said Ackee and Saltfish can just be like showdown on the plate. I am in love with these. If you missed episode 1 of the series, make sure you check out the video here to see how I did with that one. And with that said, guys, I'm gonna go get my kids to eat these. I hope you like, share this video, and definitely subscribe to help me out, okay? Let's get all of this good content to people all over the world. Bye!